What's up all you cool snakes and neonates? How's it going? I hope you're all keeping well. So an exciting one today. I'm going to try and contain myself on this one. We have a new snake. Yes, we do. We haven't had a new snake for quite some time. Okay, well we have. We had the Suriname redtail. But this is an absolute dream snake of mine. One that I have wanted for many years. I've tried to get a hold of for many years. It always slipped through my grasp, whether it was cars braking or something happened with the clutch. There was always something going wrong. There was always something that stopped me from getting this animal. So without further ado, let's get into the unboxing. As always, when we get an animal here in the Reptile Rich channel, it's come in shed. Yep, always happens every single time the animal comes in shed. When you're doing, if you're ever dealing with tape, always make sure, guys, you take the tape all the way off. Don't just cut it and leave it or anything like that. Take all the tape off, because I have seen animals had to be put down in the past and getting stuck in tape unboxing, or even people that use tape in their enclosures and they get wrapped, the tape gets stuck on them and it just doesn't end well at all. So all the tape is off. Now, you guys might have guessed from the thumbnail, this is a venomous snake. It is. It's a venomous snake that's had a poop. This is a venomous snake that's in shed. It's just spent 3 days in a van and it's blind. So let's see how we get on. Here is our new snake. Ho ho! Look at that. This is the first time I've ever even seen one of these, let alone handled one of these. This is a boiga dendrophila. Isn't that gorgeous? Now it's in shed, so it's not it's full beauty. But these guys are like a jet black body with a bright yellow striping and that bright yellow sort of face. Absolutely gorgeous. Now it's been in an enclosure for 3 days in the van, so we're going to give it a soak. We're going to give it a bath. So for about 10-15 minutes, let it drink up all that lovely water. But oh, this is a special moment right here. Absolutely special moment. No idea how long I've wanted these for. This guy is not readily accepting food yet. He's still being assist fed. These guys, it has been known to take years to get them feeding. They are notoriously bad eaters. Even this is a captive bred animal, so it's not wild caught. Its parents were captive bred, I believe. So this is as good as it gets. This is your holy grail of boigas right here. Okay, we'll put it in for a little soak. These guys do like the water. Though it's going to prove me wrong right here. I'm going to put the lid on and let it chill out for a bit. Calm down, little one. Get a drinky. So, these guys come from Southeast Asia, Vietnam and all that kind of areas. They live in watery areas. They live in the mangroves, which is where they get their common name, mangrove snake, from. Dendrophilia, the scientific name, translates to wood friend. So that references the fact they're arboreal. They like to be up in the trees. You can see in the setup that we have done here, it's got a place to climb and hide and sit on. This setup is a bit more than I would give most new animals. You guys know most new animals go on kitchen roll with a water bowl and a hide, and that's it. And then they go into a separate room for quarantine. This guy, I wanted to make him as comfortable as possible, and he's going straight in the animal room. For one, he's come from a very reputable breeder. In fact, pretty much the only boiga breeder that I know of here in the UK. And the fact that he's so specialised I really don't want his temperatures fluctuating like he would do in the rest of the house. It gets really cold at nights whereas this room, because of all the thermostats, sort of holds that 21 to 24 degrees through night and day. So it's a bit more of a contained room this for him being in. He's not going to get stressed out with traffic, people walking through the living room all the time, coming in and out. So it was really, I think it's the best idea just to put him straight into the animal room here. Of course, we'll keep a close eye on him and see and keep a close eye on her. This is a girl, I forgot to mention. With her house, I didn't want her getting too much of a draft. I hate using these things. So to stop the draft from coming in, I took some Perspex and a glue gun and I blocked up all the vents. So the only vent there is that one at the back, that one at the front. The rest of this is all completely blocked in. I've been monitoring this for about 48 hours and watching all the temperatures, and it actually has made a massive difference blocking all this off, keeping the temperature and stuff in here. Absolutely fantastic. So I've done everything that I can think of doing. I've waited so long for this animal, fingers crossed we can get it to thrive and survive here in the reptile rich animal room. So as well as being arboreal, they've been known to be slightly aquatic because they live in the mangroves. So they have to swim to get between each mangrove, between each tree. So they are just as accustomed to swimming as they are with climbing. Like there he is there, having a wee drinky, look at that. And this is why we put them into soak when they have been 3 days in a van. If an animal goes more than 7 days without water, they get a salt rush to the brain, and it can actually do them permanent mental damage. So no animal should go more than a week without water. So this guy's been 3 days without water, so he needed that little drink there that he just got. There's a water bowl in there. You really want to give them something big enough to submerge in, but that'll have to do him for now because of the size of the enclosure. That's about all I could give him at the moment. We do have future plans for building him a big beautiful viv with a good swimming area and stuff like that. Diet, these guys will eat anything. I mean, they're arboreal, so obviously birds and things like that would be on the menu. Lizards, to my understanding, they are highly cannibalistic even to their own kind, so these guys will eat other snakes too. But he will be taught to eat rodents here. So I'm super excited to be working with this animal. Absolutely amazing species. Definitely a dream animal for a lot of people, myself included. There are many different families. So you've got the boiga dendrophilia, you have the boiga melanota, multicincta. There are loads of them. The cat-eyed snakes is another name for them. This is known as golden ringed cat-eyed snake. The reason that I went for the dendrophilia, they aren't the biggest of the dendrophilias. The melanota is. The melanotas can get up to about 9 foot long. I'm running out of space here, so with that in mind, I went for the sort of middle-sized one. That and the fact that I just prefer the look of the dendros. Their golden rings go all the way around the body rather than stopping halfway up like the melanotas, so they're a bit more colourful as well. They're a bit more striking to look at. Some of the subspecies of dendrophilia, they lose those gold rings and they go pure jet black. That's not what I wanted. I wanted a striking yellow and black animal. So this is definitely an exciting day and a pinnacle point here in the reptile rich room. Dead excited to have this little guy here. Action. Come on in, come on.
She's slipping.
You can go the wrong way there. There we go. So what's been good so far is, although she's been a little bit on the racy side, there's been none of that textbook sort of boiga mouth opening flaring up, because they'll flatten their body, not like a cobra, not like our falsies, but they'll flatten their body up and down, not horizontally, to make themselves look bigger, and then they'll flare their mouth open and stuff. But she's so far is just, that's my thumb, is just wonderful. That's a really good start right there. Coming from a breeder, she probably hasn't been handled too much, because you remember breeders have loads and loads and loads and loads of animals, so they can't give them the individual attention that I give all my animals. The breeder offered me a year-old animal or a 6-month-old animal, and that's the reason I took the 6-month-old animal, because it means I can work with it from as young as possible. and hopefully get her to be as friendly as the rest of them. But as far as boigas go, she is already wonderful. Bear in mind, this animal's in shed right now. She's pretty much blind. She's had a really scary van journey. Her life has just been turned upside down, and she is, touch wood, pretty good. That tongue is nice long tongue flicks. She's showing me all the right body language. Hello, cutie. She's showing me all the right body languages. She is thinking. Her mind is processing right now. Now, see, she's trying to look up. She's trying to climb right now. Hiya, cutie. That is typical behaviour of any baby snake, let alone an arboreal one. So she's looking to climb. She's looking to get up and get into the jungle. Yes, that is our big boy hunter right there. That is, he's a scary man for you, isn't he? So she's looking to climb right now. But wow, what a well-behaved snake. Straight out of the box. I think we're going to be on to a winner with this one. Cannot wait for her to shed out. Now usually when they're smaller, the shedding process is quite quick. So I would like to think we're going to have her shed and get an update on her pretty soon. But I can't believe I'm holding the boiga right now. I really cannot believe I'm holding the boiga dendrophila. What a dream come true this is. Shame she's in shed, but she's still beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Right, sweetheart. I want to introduce you to your new home. We've got a perch for you to sit on. Nope, that's not where you're going to be sitting on. No. Come on. Yeah, she's very well behaved. One thing I've noticed already is I'm very paranoid. Look how thin her tail is in her water bowl right now. I'm paranoid about jamming that tail into something because she really is such a dainty, perfect little animal. Boiga dendrophilia. What a dream come true. So I'm going to pop her up there. I'm going to leave her to settle down. Some people leave their snakes to settle, and I've said this before on the channel, some people leave their snakes a week to settle down. I sometimes don't even give mine 24 hours. The fact she's in shed, I'll leave her alone to shed out. But sometimes I leave them as little as like 7 hours and start handling them. I mean, you've seen how fantastic she was straight out of the box. I don't think we're going to have any problems with this one. And I think we're going to have an absolute cracker of an animal right here. So she's going to live up on top of the stick insects. She's got some nice foliage to hide in there. So we're going to leave her alone in there and pick it up in a few days' time. Little face. Don't get yourself stuck. Unlike our false water cobras here, they are rear-fanged, mildly venomous. They're not life-threatening. They're not true hot, if you know what I mean. They're not going to end your life. They're maybe going to ruin your day or even your week if you're unlucky, but they're not going to end your life. Their venom is, they don't have an injection system for the delivery of the venom. It trickles down this sort of modified tooth, this elongated fang, the back of the mouth at each side, and the venom runs down that. It needs to be chewed into their victims. It's not injected in like your elapids or your vipers or anything like that. So the venom delivery system is very primitive, just like the false water cobras here. So they're not on the hot list, or here in the UK we call it the DWA, the Dangerous Wild Animals. You don't need a license to own them. You used to, just like the false water cobras here, they used to be on the DWA list until it was realised that nobody has ever died from a bite, or nobody's ever recorded to have died from a bite. If you were hyperallergenic or anything like that, you could be in a spot of bother. You could go into anaphylaxis, and then that could possibly end your life if you were really badly allergic to that sort of stuff. But really, for a perfectly healthy, normal human being, you're not going to get in any bother if you are envenomated by one of those beautiful animals, or one of these beautiful animals here too. This is Shelby, our false water cobra. She was in our last episode. I was actually just doing the thumbnail for the last episode, and I remembered I had talked about the Venom for this episode, so I figured, oh, I'll throw another rear-fanged venomous snake in here. Who's going to know the difference? Oh, you know the difference. Okay, I'm sorry. Now let's try and feed this little monkey. I've not got high hopes for her feeding. This is a species I have never worked with before in my life. It's a species that's very particular on its husbandry. They can't have it too hot, and contrary to belief, they can't have it too humid either. They only need about 50% humidity. In this room, we average about 50 to 60% humidity. So it's a bit tricky in this room too. It won't need any spraying down or anything like that, that's for sure. It's new to the room. These guys are notoriously hard to get feeding. I've even heard of people after years still not having them eating. They have to assist feed them, which means they have to hold them and push a mouse into its throat or get it engaged in its mouth and then get it feeding that way. So the chances of getting a strike feed from this little girl, with her being in the house only about a week, fresh shed, strange surroundings, strange everything, are next to none. Take a look at this though. I cannot believe that just happened. That is crazy. That is mental. That was her first ever time strike feeding. She was being assist fed up to that point. That blows my mind. This little snake right here blows my mind. The fact that she just fed there speaks volumes. Now, her husbandry I have down there was an educated guess. I would love to say it was skill that I got her feeding there. Really wasn't. That was blind luck that the humidity, the temperature, everything in this room must have been just right. Like I said when I was setting the tank up, I did set it up with a lot more than I normally would for a new animal in the room, but it's obviously worked its charm. It's given her a place to feel safe enough to eat, and fingers crossed she's going to eat again next time. We'll manage to get her eating. She's done it once now, so she knows what to do. I also was very particular with the size of the prey item. It's important you don't scare these guys off. Remember, she's a very thin-bodied arboreal snake. They're built to be light. They're not built to eat too much. Their regular diet would be birds. They'll pick birds out. Now, birds are very light, so they don't want to be too heavy. So if you give them too big and scary prey item, they're not going to want to eat it. So I made sure the prey item was small. I made sure she was handled minimalist. I'd never handle any of the animals anyway on feeding day, just to separate that. So she wasn't handled on feeding day. She'd just come out of shed, so I figured they're often a little bit peckish when they come out of shed, so I figured that was going to be the perfect time. I gave her like a day and a bit to harden up after her shed, gave her plenty to hide in. I kept her requirements as closely as possible, and with all that and sheer luck, we managed to get her strike feeding for the first time in her life. And for the first time, I was going to show you guys, how to assist feed with her. But I'll take a strike feed anyway, and we'll maybe, I'm sure somewhere down the line I'll have to take in a snake or something like that that might assist feed and show you guys. But for the time being, you're not going to see that. And I'm perfectly happy with you guys not seeing that, because I'll take this thing feeding. Because if I had to assist feed her, I'd have to hold her behind the head. I'd have to basically, if you want to put it bluntly, ram a rat down her throat, which it's not as rough as that. There's a gentleness and a certain way to go about it. So do not go ramming stuff down your snake's throats, guy. But basically, I would be risking ruining the trust that this little snake here has with me, which is absolutely crazy because of how small she is. And like I say, when you see them on YouTube and things like that, they're often very like crazy animals. So yeah, I didn't want to ruin the stress of this girl, and luckily we didn't. Hello, sweetheart. Oh, kiss on the nose. Thank you for that. Thank you for the kiss on the nose. Yes, I see you. What an amazing snake this is. I am head over heels in love. And she seems to like me too. She keeps trying to climb on my nose. I let her when she wants to as well, because she is wonderful. I mean, just look at that. You see videos of these guys on YouTube. On the rare time you do get a video of one of these guys, they're always biting and flailing and trying to take chunks out of their owner and things like that. I mean, just look at this gem. I can pick her up by the chin. It's mental. Her head is smaller than my fingernail, and she trusts me enough to let me do that. Crazy. I mean, look just how thin that tail is. That is one thing I'm very wary of. I'm not handling her too much because she is extremely fragile. I'm trying to find a happy medium between handling her enough to get her calm and to keep her calm and to keep her tame, keep her socialized with me. But also I'm trying not to handle her too much so I don't stress her out, and I also don't risk breaking her because she's an arboreal species. She is, as you can see, extremely thin and extremely fragile. Hello, sweeties. What are you doing? What are you doing? Words have escaped me. They really have. This was the last of my dream snakes, or the last of my affordable dream snakes. This is the last of my dream snakes I'm ever going to own. All the others are way out of my budget, and I'll never own them in my life. And that is okay, because look at this animal. She is wonderful. This was the last of my dream snakes to get. We'll do an episode on that later on, of all the dream animals and all the animals we own. But she is just stunning. The only thing that I've noticed that's imperfect about her, I don't know if it was in her last shed or she was born like this, but the scale, the middle of her head just at the top, is a little damaged. That might heal over time as she grows. I remember Shelby had a couple of funny scales between her head, and as she grew and got older and shed, it sort of normalised and sorted itself out. So she'll maybe sort that little unusual scale on the top of her head out. If she doesn't, I don't care. She is one stunning snake. Absolute beauty. This boiga dendrophilia. They were recently boiga dendrophilia, boiga dendrophilia melanota, and so on and so forth. But they've all been reclassified now into their own subspecies. So it's just boiga dendrophilia, boiga melanota, boiga multicincta, all that sort of stuff. So they've all been reclassified into their own thing. So this is boiga dendrophilia. You can tell it's dendrophilia because the yellow rings go all the way up and around its back. It's the medium-sized of the dendrophilias. So the melanota is the one that can get to about 9 foot long. This girl here will probably get to about 6-7 foot. Not a small colobrid by any means, and an absolute gorgeous one. A fun fact that I just learnt about these guys, because getting information and care sheets on these things are few and far between. Like, I had to translate German ones and things like that just to read up on these guys. But apparently the females are smaller than the males. Apparently it's the males of the boiga dendrophilia that are larger. If you guys are watching this and you have experience, let me know if that is true, because that's really interesting. Of course, most colubrids, the female is larger than the male. But in this case, the female is smaller, which does me just fine because we're running out of space here in the Reptile Rich Room. She has a lovely Viv downstairs, a fantastic Exoterra, a big 90 by 60 by 45 or something like that. She's got a giant Exoterra waiting for her when she gets older downstairs. Speaking of growth, Another interesting fact about these guys that I've heard, and again guys, confirm this if you know the answer, these guys are apparently really slow growing. So on contrary to the false water cobras that you can see over my left shoulder there, Shelby's just had a massive poop and I could hear it. The false water cobras are extremely fast growing. I've never encountered anything that grows like them. Apparently, these guys are extremely slow growing, which is fine because it gives me plenty of time to build enclosures because I want to build nice stuff for these guys. I was going to give her a big pond. I probably still am, but the only thing I'm going to have to watch with that is it doesn't bump her humidity up too high. But luckily, her future Viv is going to be in the living room away from the animal room because it's going to be a showpiece. I'm planning on doing it bioactive with... Sorry, sweetheart, did I give you a fright there? I'm planning on doing it bioactive with a big pond and stuff in it. I've already started building it. I'm going to do a video on that. But because these guys live on the mangroves, they live on trees and leaves, and they hang over the top of the water, and they bask on top of these trees and leaves. And when there's danger, they drop into the water and they scoot away and swim away. So I want to make it as naturalistic as possible for this little girl. I want to have her a basking spot above this water and have it sort of looking absolutely stunning. That is the plan. We'll see if it goes ahead and if it works. But yeah, so the fact she's slow growing, if she outgrows that tank, I would imagine she's going to be in there for quite a few years anyway, until she does get too big for that tank. But she'll be in here for quite a while. I'm probably going to upgrade that tank that she's in now within a month or two, because I really don't like her being in there. I don't like the clip on top. I'm always paranoid I'm going to catch her tail in it, and I'm going to catch her, or I'm going to catch her in it. Like I say, she's very fragile, and I do not want to hurt or break this little snake. She is a special snake to me. Special snake to many people out there. These are very sought after snakes, and I've been after one for years, and I cannot believe that I have one in my hands right now. I mean, that is just mental. I mean, look at it. Look at it, just look at it, you know? So that is our boiga dendrophilia, guys. We've not got a name for her yet. I'm really struggling to think of a name for her. Common names: gold-ringed cat-eyed snake, mangrove snake, scientific name boiga dendrophilia. I've been racking my brains trying to think of a name for this special girl. It's got to be a special name too, I'm not sure. So if you guys have any name suggestions for this amazing little animal, hit me up in the comments below. With your name suggestions. We still need a name for our red knee tarantula as well, our Mexican red knee. So hit me up in the comments as well for names for that one too. So guys, from me, this fantastic animal and all the rest of this fantastic animals in the room, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share the channel around, all that good stuff. Take it easy. Peace.